growing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream. Today's Wednesday, November 5th. S&P is pretty flat, down about 1.5 points. NASDAQ down 27, Russell down 10, up 10. Dow up 35, Russell the strongest, NASDAQ the weakest. Gold is up, gold and silver both up right around 1%. Notes and bonds down a little bit, 10-year yield up about 0.75%. Oil down 0.5%, natural gas down 1.5%, soybeans up about 0.33%, wheat and corn are a little bit red. Euro and the pound are pretty flat. Bitcoin a little bit of a bounce back today, up about 2%. VIX up about 0.25%, currently at 19.04. Had a decent little dip in the market overnight, and then a pretty decent rebound back to basically where we closed at yesterday. I'm going to be doing a 1 DTE. VIX was down a little bit when I posted my trade plan, but it's kind of popped back up. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 1 DTE price action. Doesn't seem too shabby. We do have a few things going on today. We had ADP non-farm employment change pre-market. We've got ISM services 30 minutes after the market opens. And then Trump Daddy speaks at noon Central. It doesn't have it as a red folder, but I'm sure he'll say something exciting. Due to speak at the American Business Forum in Miami. Opening bell in a little over a minute. Looks like the expected range in SPX is going to be about 38, 39 points today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I've got my coffee as well, Watson. I'm ready. So my 1 DTE will fire. I'm going to go ahead and allow my BIX to fire right out of the gate as well. Other than that, try to find some directional action this morning. Yeah, I kind of think so. I think that was the last flush there. I think my bias is to the upside in price, which would in turn crush some vol. All right, SPX 38.85 is the expected range. Get that marked on my charts. A few points less than yesterday. Yesterday was a little over 41. So that puts the upper range at about 68.11. The lower range at 67.28 and change. SPX opening right where it closed yesterday, which is also near the lows of day. Biggest movers on my watch list on the red side, TEM is down 4 plus. SMCI, which had earnings, is down 4. AMD had earnings, it's down 2. Netflix is red. Bank of America, all the banks are red. On the green side, MU is up 4.5. HIMS. OKLO is up 3. Tesla is up 1.5. Hood's up 1. My 1DTE should be firing. There we go. $100, 130 wide.
Order filled. Order filled.
Got some juice in the premiums. So the ISM services PMI that comes out at 9 a.m. Central, it's considered a red folder data release, so could see a little bit of a shimmy shake in the market when that happens, so we'll be aware of that. I do have my Microsoft short trade, my swing trade from yesterday. It's basically a break even. PLTR is coming down. MU is pushing up to yesterday's high, acting strong. Tesla falling, Netflix falling, all the big boys falling. NASDAQ coming down, Russell going up. As far as the indices go, we had this kind of just consolidation overnight. It flushed it and bounced up, and now we flushed it to the upside, and now we're coming back into that range. I wanted to kind of see if that was going to hold, but not so far. Banks are coming down. So a lot of things coming down except for MU. MU seems to be the only thing holding up. SMH, even though most of the chips are coming down, SMH is still pushing. I got to figure out what the weighting is on SMH, because that thing sure seems a little wacky sometimes compared to what all the big chip stocks are doing. Bitcoin a little dip since the open. Microsoft, I took based on this trend line break on the daily chart. It's holding below that still. Kind of bounced back up to it, even a little bit above it yesterday near the close, but holding below it now. We are a few minutes away from the end of our second 5-minute bar. Not seeing much volume coming in anything. S&P, NASDAQ starting to bounce. Banks still coming down. Banks look weak. Good, Moel? I think I probably just wasn't talking. Not much going on yet. All right, getting a little bounce coming in some of the Mag 7s, indices, Bitcoin. Looks like Bank of America had the closest potential volume bar, but it wasn't even close. Not too often you don't see anything with a little volume pop. GDX gold miners. Yeah, it almost got there. Let's see if some of these other stocks that aren't on my main board are doing much. MU's still pushing. MU looks like it's on a mission. Carvana. Carvana definitely had a volume bar. Just kind of pulled back here. Trading the 2DTE options today. It's a $320 stock. Options are about $1.50 wide at the money. Volume less than 100 at every strike I see. Yeah, I'll pass. I mean, it's tradable. AVGO acting a little bit stronger now. It popped up above pre-market highs. Yeah, I've traded it. It's definitely tradable, but I'll pass. So the little bounce in the market, getting pushed back down a little bit. Bitcoin getting stronger. All the Mag 7s still acting pretty weak. Couple of chips acting strong. And banks still weak. IWM, which was getting a little more bouncy, is now back through lows of day, acting the weakest. Even with Bitcoin pushing, MSTR Coin, Circle, and Hood all acting weak. So Carvana is coming down to kind of near the bottom of that big bar that had the big volume. I haven't traded DoorDash in a while. Last time I traded it, the options were pretty wide. Yeah, I wouldn't trade that. Especially for earnings. They're going to really widen out the next morning.
Order cancelled.
All right.
Order filled.
S&P trying to bounce off the little lows.
Order
Just
filled.
Choppy, sloppy range. HIMS is acting strong. It's kind of pulling back now. FSLR is acting strong, pushing through yesterday's high. NVIDIA, a little bounce back above yesterday's lows, back in the green. Apple trying to hold yesterday's lows. Yeah, so if you want to get on Carvana right there near the, you could use the low of that big volume bar as your exit. It's kind of popping now, but it came down and gave you a nice, pretty low risk entry there. Got the news, ISM news in 14 minutes. NVIDIA bouncing. Some of the chips are bouncing. TSM recovered. MU still strong. AVGO still strong. ARM trying to bounce. PYPL. PayPal. PayPal strong, yep. Kind of broke out of its overnight consolidation. S&P trying to break out of its little first 15-minute consolidation range. S&P, NASDAQ approaching pre-market highs. TSM breaking above pre-market highs. I might look at a upside runner in TSM if I can get a pullback to that pre-market high level. A lot of the stocks, including the indices, had this kind of pre-market consolidation area. Now we're getting some break above here. S&P, NASDAQ looking stronger. NVIDIA pushing above pre-market highs. So the chips kind of coming to life. Everything's starting to come to life, it looks like. Coming alive. Banks, not as much. Banks still acting. Goldman and JP Morgan are bouncing. Bank of America is not. Might just wait till after ISM here. See what happens. AMD had earnings. It's trying to go green. ISM is in
Order
10
filled.
minutes.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
TSM still pushing. Indices still pushing. MU's up 7% now. Man, when MU is ready to move, it moves. Trying to get back up to all-time high territory. It's currently at 233 and change. All-time high was 237 and change.
Order filled.
All right, banks starting to bounce now. Bitcoin going through pre-market highs. Financial Juice is showing that PMI already got reported. That's final services PMI, which is classified as a low impact, but looks like that's when the market shot up, is after that was reported. ISM services PMI is supposed to be the more important one. That's in about 7 minutes. Well, leave some move here for the rest of us. Crypto stocks starting to bounce now. Everything's starting to bounce. Microsoft staying relatively weak. That's good. Watson jumped in ARM. What's the little ARM doing? ARM's bouncing. Man, SMH is really pushing. TSM never gave an entry. The indices never really gave an entry at pre-market highs.
Order filled.
PLTR staying weak right at yesterday's lows. Google's now ripping up through yesterday's high. Nvidia pulling back right at pre-market highs. All right, let's see if the other ISM gives us anything here in a few minutes. Just no entries as far as the way that I trade goes. PLTR down through lows of day. PLTR not having a good day. Got that earnings fly in PLTR. It's It's up a little bit more than where I took half off. Just going to continue to hold that for now. AMD, the fly that I put on yesterday, needs a bounce for that one to get in range. Indices still pushing. The train has left the station without me. Nice bounce in the hood. Yeah, the vol crash-a-thon. VIX down 4.5% already. It started today. It gapped up by about 1/3%, so it's already down about 5% from the open. Bitcoin, little pause, pull back near pre-market highs. Nvidia, a little dip back up above pre-market highs. That may not be a bad entry. Calls in Nvidia. That little dip popped right back up. I'm just going to wait here. We got 30 seconds until the ISM comes out. See if that does anything. Goog still ripping. Okay, little pause. Let's see if we can get a little pullback for an entry somewhere here. IWM pulling back the most. Goog, no pullback. Little pause in a bunch of the chips. AMD, MU, AVGO, TSM. Crypto's rolling over a little bit. MSTR, Coinbase rolling over. Meta is bouncing up to highs. Tesla going through lows. Tezzy and PLTR looking weak. See if the indices want to pull back to pre-market highs here. Nvidia's holding up pretty well. CoreWeave rolling back over down to lows. Crypto's not holding up very well. Google, a little bit of a pause, holding up well. So I'm watching Nvidia. I may take Nvidia at the pre-market highs. Trading 2 DTE. I would trade the 202 half calls in Nvidia. Oh boy. Just pushed on me. I'll put in an order on the 202 half calls in Nvidia at $1.90. See if it comes back down and get me. All right. Oh, wow. Filled at $1.85. Little quick dip back below. All right, see if we can hold and rip here. One more push up. Some of the chips coming down. AVGO, MU, AMD, TSM, all pulling back a bit. CoreWeave flushing through lows. PLTR made another dip, trying to bounce. Tesla below yesterday's lows. I'll put my first profit target in Nvidia at 210. If it can make a pop above highs of day, should hit it. Grab a little more coffee.
Order filled.
Nice pop. Nvidia got filled. I'll put my next profit target at 240. If it can keep running.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
I've got this green line that's marked on my chart. If you zoom out to a higher time frame, it's kind of we've seen some bottoming here, there. So I'm going to try to get out of some more before we get to that level, if it can push up a little bit more. Tezzy trying to bounce, PLTR now trying to bounce. Some of these chip bounces like NVIDIA, TSM couldn't follow through on that extension. NASDAQ kind of got shut down as well. IWM came back and bounced right off the previous highs of the day on from that first 5 minutes. Nice bounce. Russell getting strong, pushing through highs. By far the strongest of the three indices. NASDAQ and S&P are both up about the same on a percentage basis. Well, NVIDIA getting a little wicky. Not much follow through on that bounce. Kind of similar in some of the other chips. TSM kind of got shut down the same way. Google, all up. After the first 15 minutes, it's been all up. Whoa, PLTR got well, I don't know if that's real. You were in PLTR, weren't you, Watson? That wick that I'm showing, that's not real, is it? Looks like a misprint. What's the high of that bar that you show? On toss, you can come in here and correct these. 184. Yeah, not the current bar, but the one right before, 5 minutes before. $184. Okay, there we go. So that's what it should look like. All right, NVIDIA. NVIDIA back to chopping right at pre-market highs. Lando taking a shot on Tesla right here, short. Right at pre-market lows, right around yesterday's lows, right around yesterday's close. Google finally pulling back. Crypto stocks are straight chop. TSM pulling all the way back to pre-market highs. Indices still dipping. Nvidia still dipping. Let's see if Nvidia can hold here.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Beta, what do they do? Electronic airplanes. Oh. That seems like it's going to be going to happen in the future. IWM getting pretty weak now, dipping back into pre-market range. S&P and NASDAQ holding up a little bit better. Nvidia still holding this little consolidation area right just below pre-market highs. So you're saying we should short it right out of the gate, Watson? All right, Watson's telling us all to short it. This is insider information. It's coming straight from Watson. Short beta. Unfortunately, there's none to borrow right now. No options yet. Come on, Invid. Give us one more push. One more push. PLTR, nice bounce. You still in that at all, Watson, or G bail? Or G paper hand it? All right, getting a little bounce in NVIDIA. It's kind of coming up to the top of where it had that second leg down. AVGO. Well, pre-market highs is pretty down there. Pre-market highs would be down in 355.5 area. Tezzy still trying to climb. Lando, do you sticking with that one still, or are you out? So it looks like it marked a little price peak during yesterday's cash session in AVGO. I see that sometimes with a key level indicator in TradingView. Sometimes it'll mark things a little differently. All right, Invid back to the kind of the upper range of that consolidation area. See if we can get one more pop. Goog pulling back now, a few bars. Yeah, I think Elon's pay package gets announced today, right? Whether it's going to go through or not. Ooh, Tesla back down. There you go. Good hold. ARM giving it up all the way back down. SMCI giving it up, still going through lows. S&P, NASDAQ still dipping.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
I mean, he earned it, Watson. Pay the man his money. Pay the man his money. He took a moonshot with crazy, crazy goals, and he hit it. Pay the man. That's what I say. NVIDIA just chopped. Yeah, I'm sure the government would spend that money very efficiently. Last thing we need to do is put that in the government's hands. I'd rather it stay in his hands. He's done a lot more than the government ever could. AVGO getting a little bounce. TSM kind of chopping above pre-market highs. NASDAQ, S&P's little dips getting bought up. Same with IWM. Come on, Nvid. Pump it. Microsoft now bouncing. I don't want to see that. Tezzy made that little dip. It's bouncing back up towards yesterday's lows. What's PLTR doing? Just chopping. S&P had a little bit of a that wick is real because it's on SPX as well, and I got stopped on a put side of my BIX in that little wick. So some little shake and bake happened there. Yeah, maybe it's not quite that deep. Here's what it looks like on SPX. So yeah, I guess not quite as much below that low right there. So it's probably closer to 676 maybe on SPY. All right, little bounce coming in. Kind of a boring day here. I mean, we had that nice little push, but I didn't have any entries off of that. So chop for the first 15 minutes, had 10 minutes of action. Now we've been chopping for 30. So if you didn't catch that 10 minutes of action, you're kind of just sitting here like I am with NVIDIA. Yeah, I was watching SPY when it happened. I mean, it happened fast. That little wiki wick. I wasn't sure if it was partly a misprint or not. Well, I was hoping Microsoft was going to stay weak, but it's kind of raging back up now. Kind of back up to that trend line where I shorted from. My 1 DTE is not looking too good, I don't think. It's down 9%. Well, we've been on here for an hour and we've hit one profit target. Creeping back up. Let's see if it's going to make another run here before we end the live stream. There you go. Creeping up towards highs of day. I've got my order in NVIDIA at 240. It's currently trading at about 216. Dang, Microsoft and Meta, which were acting the weakest early, are pushing now. Amazon back up. Almost green. Apple was weak early, back up. Getting close to green. Another 50 cents or so. Tezzy's still weak. PLTR coming alive. Still bouncing. AMD's chopping around unchanged. TSM bounced nicely off of pre-market highs. I didn't like taking an entry there after that little fake head fake to the upside and then flush back down. It started acting weaker than most other things, but held nicely and bounced. Okay, cool, Watson. Yeah, so it was. Looks like it was real. S&P to highs of day. Yeah, Tesla is not participating much in this little bounce. VIX through lows, back down under 18. S&P and NASDAQ couldn't push through highs. Bitcoin grinding up to highs. MU made another high. TSM bouncing nicely. NVIDIA bounced back up right up to highs, but no push through yet. Netflix trying to get back its drop back above yesterday's lows. Yeah, Meta looking strong now. Today. All right, we'll give it a few more minutes here, see if Nvid can make a pop. Microsoft rejecting a little bit at that level, along with yesterday's close. So tried to go green, getting pushed back down a little bit. Just can't quite push through. I mean, everything, well, except for Meta, everything's kind of just indices trying to make another shot at pushing through highs. Yeah, I started with 2. I took half off at 100% profit, and I'm riding the other one, and it's up about 150% now. So it's pretty centered. I don't, if we get any kind of a decent move in PLTR, it's going to kind of take some of that profit away. So I'll be watching it. I may close it today. Today's Wednesday. We still have till Friday, so there's a lot of premium still left if it stays in range, but I'll be making a decision. I may close the other one today. I'll post in the 0DTE trades, of course. And NVIDIA kind of pulling back a little bit. AVGO going through highs. AVGO held your pre-market high, Watson. It worked. Did you take it? A level is a level is a level. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the stream. I will post the exit of my remaining NVIDIA in the directional chat or directional trade channel. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in Power Hour. Cheers.